Everyone in the world has different opinions, and everyone expresses their opinions in different ways. Not everyone always agrees with it, but that's why the world there's conflicts in the world, and the world functions the way it does is because everyone feels a different way. And that is why art is amazing. Art is amazing because people are able to express their thoughts on anything they want and show it to the world and let them see it. Diego Rivera was the best artist, the best person who showed his thoughts on the world and wasn't afraid to show it through his art. I've studied many different artists in my Spanish classes, and Diego Rivera was definitely the one that stuck out with me the most because he was the one that took the step in the art world to let people know that they could show their thoughts, show their feelings through their art. Diego had an interesting family life that led to his crazy artwork, and he had a very awesome and interesting style of art that was different from many others. And he had three specific artworks that led to his fame and his successful career that will be shown in this presentation. To begin, Diego Rivera was born in Guanajuato, Mexico, on December 8th, 1886. He went to art school and he lived in many different countries with many different wives. He was famous for having many different affairs. He lived in the Soviet Union and learned about the communist culture, and he also lived in Italy and Mexico. He married many different women, but he's famous for marrying another artist, Frida Kahlo. In 1929, they got married, and they were divorced at one point in their lives. And Kahlo died in 1954, and Rivera was very, very upset, devastated by the loss. He got very sick and eventually died only 2 years later in 1956 of heart failure. He and Kahlo had a very interesting relationship, and they represented their relationship through their art a lot of times. Rivera's artwork was very different than many. He started off with Cubism. Here's a picture of one of his arts, but he eventually became a muralist, and he's very famous for his murals. He took a step in the art world, and he was criticized largely for a lot of pieces of work because he wasn't afraid to show his thoughts towards government and his thoughts towards political things. He liked to show the rich versus the poor, and he was a very large supporter of the working class. And he was often criticized for this because he wasn't afraid to show people for what he didn't agree with. Three specific artworks that I would like to discuss. To begin, his most criticized piece of work that he made in 1933 was Man at a Crossroads. Here it is. It actually shows Vladimir Lenin. He was largely against the communist revolution, which he witnessed in the Soviet Union. And this picture shows communists versus the capitalists. And it was mysteriously destroyed in a museum in 1933. And later, Rivera made a painting called The Man of the Universe, which was basically to copy this piece of art that was destroyed and show that he wouldn't go down without a fight. Another picture that he's largely known for is A Dream of a Sunday Afternoon in Alameda Park. It's like hundreds of very important Mexican historical figures that led to the important culture of Mexico, and it's crazy detail on it. He's told stories through his murals, and this is a great showing of it. And lastly, another picture is found in the Detroit Institute of Arts. I saw it there. It's amazing. It shows the Detroit auto industry, and he likes to represent the working class. And he spent a year in Detroit making that with Frida Kahlo. And he spent a lot of time, and it's still there today, and it is an amazing piece of work that it shows the hard-working auto industry of Detroit, and it's amazing. That was made in 1933 as well. Hopefully, after all of this information, one should see the beauty of his work and the importance of Rivera's career as an artist and how he changed the world as an artist. His family life was rough with his many different wives and his depression after his loss of his wife, which led to his stories through his muralism and not being afraid to show his stories through muralism. And he has three very important paintings that show the importance of the Mexican culture and his side and views on the working class. So Rivera was amazing and very important to Mexican culture and art in general.